Deforestation of the Amazon Rainforest by myself, Jackson Scrimsher, Nolan Eichler, and Mateo Shinzinski. On the right side of the screen, you'll see a series of high-resolution images called Landsat images, taken from a series of NASA satellites between the years 2000 and 2019 of BR-163, a key highway for trade in Brazil. This is a pretty shocking example of how much and how fast deforestation can have an effect on a small area. And this isn't happening just here in Para, Brazil. This is happening all over the Amazon rainforest throughout 9 different countries in South America. Typically in Brazil, the people who lived near the edge of the forest were typically the poorest until 1970, which was the start of the boom of the deforestation. And according to Clive Granger, a British economist at the University of Nottingham, with the introduction of better technologies and a higher demand for wood, starting roughly around the year 1970, the per capita income from 1970 to 1980 soared from $273 to $906. Adjusting for inflation, this means that the introduction of mass-scale deforestation nearly doubled the per capita income of the citizens in the vicinity of the forest. The boom of the logging industry happened essentially overnight, and the government was too uninformed and slow to make any serious regulation changes about the deforestation, which happened from 1970 until 1982, until the cost of logging caught up and actually decreased Brazil's overall GDP because the cost of logging got so high. However, a succession of right-sided presidents made a series of very questionable decisions in terms of the regulations of the forest, scaling back efforts to fight illegal logging, ranching, and mining due to their personal business ties with loggers. Today, the deforestation of the Amazon takes up 1/4 of Brazil's economy, makes up 20% of the world's carbon emissions, and is rapidly changing the climate throughout South America, leading to global climate change, and it does not look like any initiatives are being made to reverse the effects. This short history of uncontrolled logging has led to a major problem that the Amazon is currently decreasing in size faster than ever, according to research from the World Wildlife Foundation. The problem has 3 main contributors. Firstly, with an ever-growing population, more people need jobs, and more workers have entered the logging industry, which also does not help deforestation. Secondly, as with anything, people find ways to do things faster, better, and for less money. This has, of course, struck the logging industry, as better technologies have allowed loggers to cut with more efficiency, incentivizing them to cut more to make more money. Lastly, the benefits to cut are not slowed down by the fact that the current government is not enforcing more stringent regulations, but are actually in the process of undoing previous legislation that protected this beautiful forest.
So our first solution is from Clive Granger, a British econometrician from the University of Nottingham and the University of California, San Diego. And it's a strictly economic solution, and it would be to expand the economic impact of other sectors in the Brazilian economy in order to compensate for the loss in GDP from cutting back on logging. And according to Sergey Jain, a writer and market realist who graduated from the Berla Institute of Management Technology, she says Brazil has already started to attempt to implement this in order to diversify their overall GDP and exports to other nations. This means higher government funds to factories, mining companies, fishing, and other parts of the Brazilian economy. If the Brazilian government were to rely less on logging and implement more subsidies for other industries, they could more easily transition from mass deforestation to begin helping save the Amazon, while also improving their economy. And this graph shows the decrease in overall GDP from 2010 to 2015, where there was a higher emphasis on deforestation instead of diversifying our economy. One of the limitations of this solution would be that many logging companies would lose workers to other industries, and it could cause them to have to resort to even less environmentally friendly ways of getting rid of rainforests, such as clear cutting or even starting fires. Although this solution is more about Brazil's economy and people than about the environment, it's still viable as a way to improve the Brazilian economy and help its people. Since it's already being partially implemented, it'd be easy to build off the foundation that the Brazilian government has already started to build and to help the economy and the people of Brazil. So solution 2 is from Rebecca Bartless of National Geographic, and it would be to manage forest resources, eliminate clear cutting, and plant new trees to replace those removed. The first 2 parts are systematic changes, and they wouldn't really affect logging companies. And the third part, plant trees, is already being implemented by companies such as the Arbor Day Foundation, the largest 501c3 nonprofit membership organization, and is dedicated to planting trees that accepts donations and puts all of its revenue directly into planting new trees and ensuring its long-term survival. So as you can see in this picture, clear cutting can completely render sections of forest inert and unable to repair because of loss of topsoil, key nutrients, and the inability for living trees to spread. So one of the limitations from this solution would be pushback from logging companies, and this could be very dramatic and slow the solution down tremendously. Another limitation would be funds, and planting new trees on a large scale requires large amounts of funds to maintain and to plant more. And the last limitation would be finding people with knowledge to manage forest resources, as some parts of the Amazon are extremely undereducated, as shown in this graph. And it could be a struggle, and as you can see, education in Brazil has never been a highlight of their country, but they've always been improving. And this solution focuses on the environmental side of deforestation, and could reduce the environmental impact of deforestation around the world. And because of the way this solution goes with the problem, there's not many obstacles for the government to have to go around, making the only problem pushback from logging companies.
Our third solution is that the Brazilian government needs to implement rules and regulations to help mitigate the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. Greenpeace states that the Brazilian government needs to implement a transparent and centralized system integrated with state forestry licensing systems. This would set rules that the logging companies can clearly follow. In addition, the government needs to monitor the chain of custody, recording companies that buy and sell timber at a national level, and automatically rejecting transport documents showing common evidence of fraud. This would help get rid of illegal logging, which would be beneficial for the Amazon. The first limitation is that the logging companies are becoming very powerful, and there would be pushback against stringent rules and regulations because they want to keep their production line and money increasing, not decreasing. Daniel Nepstead, who holds a doctorate in forest ecology from Yale, states that the logging industry consists of 250,000 jobs and produces 1/4 of the gross domestic product, thus making it a major business. This leads me to the second limitation, which would be recently elected President Bolsonaro. Due to him being far right, he's not the best president for what the Amazon needs right now. However, if deforestation has declined before, it can be done again. From 2004 to 2012, deforestation was on a steep decline. This was because of plans implemented. Daniel Bouchardette, who holds a doctorate in ecology and economics, states that a PPCD-AM plan was implemented from 2004 and 2012 to help monitor and control deforestation. This plan went through three main goals. To 1, focus on conservation units and indigenous territories. 2, to focus on controlling and monitoring deforestation. And 3, to start producing more sustainable productions. If all three of these solutions were implemented in the modern day, very beneficial results will be yielded. This graph shows from 2004 to 2012 the decrease in deforestation that happened due to the plan implemented. You can also observe that from 2012 to 2018 there has been an increase in deforestation, and this trend will likely continue due to the fact that far-right presidents were elected, such as President Bolsonaro. In the end, rules and regulations would be the best solution because of the fact that it has been done before, so it can be done again. So they have experience in this area. And as well as the other solutions that were given can be facets of this new system made, such as adding better management of forest resources, eliminating clear cutting, and planting new trees to help those removed. Also, we can expand the economic impact of other sectors of the Brazilian economy, which would also be beneficial. Additionally, the Amazon houses a lot of biodiversity as well as indigenous people that are being harmed by deforestation. Terrace McCrory, who holds a master's degree in political science, states that in the past decade, 300 indigenous people have been killed by illegal loggers, and this has gone unnoticed. They are standing up and fighting for their home, which is being destroyed. So if these rules and regulations were implemented, then we wouldn't have to worry about these indigenous people being killed. And lastly, deforestation affects not only Brazil and its surrounding countries, but the world as well. So with these solutions implemented, they would help decrease the deforestation of the Amazon and collectively benefit the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mateo. So I'm going to start with you. What was the strongest counter argument to the conclusion your team came up with, and why?
So the strongest counter argument we came up with the conclusion is to implement rules and regulations. Because as we can see right now, that the Brazilian government's corrupt and they're pulling back on enforcement measures like fines, warnings, and seizure of illegal deforestation equipment, which is not beneficial for the Amazon. So what we do is we would implement these rules and regulations to help the Amazon rainforest as a whole.
Okay, and Jackson, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your understanding of the problem that your group identified?
I would say that Mateo probably had the biggest impact on ours because he focused on the political lens, which has a lot to do with the issue of deforestation because of all of these questionable decisions that these presidents and the government officials have been making about the regulations on the Amazon. Nolan focused more on an environmental factor, which did play a key part, but I don't think that the environment has anything to do with Brazil specifically, because there's deforestation all around the world, but the reason that Brazil's is so bad is because of their long history of an uncontrolled government.
Yeah, good. Okay, and Nolan, how did the group decide to include Jackson's perspective into your overall presentation?
Jackson focused a lot on the economic side of this argument, and I focus on the environmental side, and without the economics and especially political lens, you wouldn't be able to help the environment at all, because in Brazil specifically, there's a lot of political problems that we need to go through, and especially economic reforms that would need to happen in order to help the environment and help deforestation in the Amazon.
Okay, thank you.